To make this simple rubber table tenoning sled, first I will cut the base. From a piece of 1 cm thick plywood, I cut a piece of 20 cm by 15 cm. I use my homemade table saw, not the safest option. When I made this table saw, I should use a circular saw with a built-in riving knife. I use a 4 cm by 4 cm strip to make the front of the sled. I cut it 30 cm long in my table saw sled. Now I want to cut a rebate in the bottom of the strip to fit in the plywood base. First I will cut like this in the table saw. I rest the strip gently against the saw disc, and I put the plywood base against the strip, and I move the fence until it touches the plywood base. The outside edge of the saw disc teeth must be perfectly flush with the plywood surface. I think now it is perfect, so I block the fence. I adjust the saw disc height to 2.5 cm, and I make the first cut. Now I will make a second cut like this. I move the fence until it touches the strip. I adjust the disc height, and I cut. Now the plywood base is perfectly flush with the base of the strip, but there I didn't cut that inside corner. I will use a chisel to clean that inside corner. I think I should have lifted the saw disc some millimeters more. And now both pieces fit perfectly. So the plywood base goes on the tabletop, and the strip goes there, in the front. I will put another strip in front of that, and I will adjust the position of that strip with a couple of screws. Because the first strip is too thick, I will counterbore the guide holes, so I can drive the screws in the second strip, but making sure they will not protrude the other side. Now I drill guide holes. I sand the splinters in the other side. And now I can glue and screw the plywood base to the first strip. To spread the glue and to make them fit perfect, I move both pieces. You probably can hear how the cordless drill is running out of use, so I have to drive the screws by hand. To make the sled more comfortable to handle, I will put there that piece. It will be perfect to hold and to push the sled. The guide bar goes under the base, and I want to put it at 8 cm from the edge. So I move the handle until it is at 11 cm from the edge. I mark the place where I want to drive the screws, and I drive them until the tip protrudes the other side. I apply some glue to the holder edges, and I screw it. And there is a gap between the holder and the strip, but it is not a problem. Now I will charge the cordless drill. Now in my router table I screw that plywood board in such a way that the guide bar fits perfect in the groove I leave between the boards. And I make sure it doesn't wobble. And I put there 2 pieces of sandpaper, so I slightly lift the guide bar. I make sure the fence and the guide bar are parallel. I put the sled on the guide bar with the guide bar at 8 cm from the edge. I make some reference marks. I apply some glue between the marks in the guide bar. I put the sled on the guide bar, and I drive one screw. Now I can turn the sled until the front is perfect at 90 degrees with the router table fence. When I am sure it is perfect, I drive another screw. And if everything is still perfect, I drive a third screw. And I can remove the two pieces of sandpaper. Now, with the sled and the fence ready to root, the sled is separated from the fence. So I will screw a second strip in the front, and I can put the end of that strip against the fence. I mark the position for the screws and I drill guide holes. Like that strip will prevent tear out when I root. If the guide bar doesn't slide very well, I can use some wax to make everything more slippery. When the strip I root is vertical, it hooks there. I think I just need some more practice, and I can also sand that edge in the fence. That prevents the tear out in my workpiece, and if I need to root a different shape, I can easily change that strip in the front of the sled. And if I move the fence, I don't have to move the strip. This roller table tenoning sled is great to root tenons easily and very fast, but I need some more practice to avoid those small marks. And as I mentioned before, I have to sand the edge in the router fence. Thanks for watching. You can find all my woodworking and DIY videos in my channel in YouTube. And if you like my videos, thanks for subscribing to my channel.